In less than 120 days, we are now signed with 251 dealerships across Canada. So far, in the last 120 days, we've done 11, just a hair under 11 million in revenue.
But the problem with the founder is that once you become a founder, you're touching everything. You're touching sales, marketing, finance. In this episode, I'm talking to Ted Lam, founder and CEO of AITHR. This startup grew to $10 million in platform revenues and signed on 250 car dealerships within 3 months of business, and they're just about to raise a $1.5 million round. We're going to talk about how he knocked on over 500 doors across Canada, how he uses LinkedIn for storytelling, and some top lessons learned in his first year in business. And if you can't answer any questions, we're going to both take a shot of hot sauce. Wish me luck, Martians. Hope you enjoy this one. Hello, Martians. Welcome back to another episode of Marketing on Mars. Today, we got Ted Lam. He's currently the CEO and the founder of AITHR, which is essentially, it's like an auto trader platform where you can essentially buy vehicles, but they focus on people that have subprime or negative credits and helping them get their car faster, and they work specifically with dealerships. Ted, thank you for jumping onto the show.
No, thanks for having me. I'm excited to watch a few of your episodes and always been a fan of hot sauce myself, so I figured I had to jump on.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll do a quick intro and I'll let you explain yourself a little bit further. But I reached out to Ted because it's very interesting. He's been in the car industry, automotive industry for a very long time. It looks like it's probably over 10 years now, right?
19.
Oh my God, to 19 years. And so he acquired all this knowledge, and he finally took the plunge in 2021, started his business, and it's grown significantly in the last year. So I'm very excited for you to share some numbers. Hopefully you can share some numbers.
For sure.
But yeah, maybe you can start off. Tell us a little bit about your background, expand a little bit further in what AITHR does as well.
Yeah, well, again, I'm Ted Lam. I've been in the automotive industry since I was 18 in Calgary. I figured it was that or, I tried it. I thought it was just for a summer, and then you know how it works. One summer led to next after next, and then I was like, okay, well, I don't think I'm doing this whole summer thing anymore. I think it's really happening, right? So, I stayed in the business, and I just truly loved it. You know what the one thing I loved about it is that there is never the same day twice because it's human interactions. You never have the same day twice, and that's really what got me to it. And it was nice meeting people and assisting families into getting a purchase, the second biggest purchase in most people's lifetimes, right? So it was pretty exciting. And then it kind of just stuck with us. But over the time, what we've done is, I've been in every type of position. I've done sales, I've done the finance manager, I've done sales manager, general manager, and I've done all the roles. And, subprime was something that was dear to my heart. Not a lot of people are, I am humbled by failure multiple times, and I have no problem sharing. When I first joined the auto industry in 04 to 08, I was making $150,000 a year, living the American dream, spending $250,000. So you know how that math doesn't really add very quick.
So the American dream.
The American dream. So the math added up really quick. The math didn't work out really quick. And I plunged into bad credit. And at that time, when you really Google it, there's really nothing out there in terms of knowledge, not enough. So over time, I've learned how to rebuild my credit. And I've learned the ins and outs of it and how to coach and guide others to really assist them. Because, one thing I found, people think, oh, subprime, it's this, it's a stigma. Yeah. No, it's not. It's really good people. Just bad things happen to them. Right. And that's something that I did pride myself in. So, I jumped into the auto industry or jumped into the finance department. I learned how to rebuild credit for people. And one of the heartfelt moments that I knew I loved it the most is when my first client, 4 years later, brought me a card, and she said, I just got my first mortgage. Thank you so much.
Wow.
And that feeling of helping someone reestablish credit and how that can actually impact someone's livelihood, that's when I took interest. I'm like, this is something I can actually do. As much as I'm a car salesman And I'm not really there to make the biggest impact in the world, but what if I can make an impact in one person's life? One at a time,
Mm.
one credit at a time, and kind of how we did it. But over the years, learning it to do a subprime, to put a deal, to construct a subprime deal, it takes a lot of work. And what I mean by that is every approval, every car has different terms. So maybe the Civic, you can only get 5 years. This one's 5.5 years, higher interest rate, lower interest rate. And when it comes to subprime market, it's backwards than the traditional. So the prime market, I walk in, I got good credit, I pick that car, I drive it, I go sit in, I buy it. Subprime's the other way. You walk in, do a pre-approval first, similar to a mortgage, and then you get your budget, and then you work that with your way there.
Mm.
So I noticed it was like, very manual work, and it just took too long. And then one day I was just sitting there going, man, I worked for 300 hours this month. 270 of those hours, I wasn't even with clients. I was matching deals to approvals because I
It
had to
took
make
so
deals
long.
work. Just
Yeah.
took so long.
Yeah. The
Each one I had to put
process.
puzzles together, and then it clicked in. I was like, what if I automated it? What if every single time I just well, I'm doing it now manually, but what if every time I just plugged in the algorithm, I clicked it and it just did it for me? And
Mm.
then and then we
Bang.
became
You got
Aether.
it.
Just like that.
Yeah.
That was it. Like that, it was at that moment where I'm like, no. So why Aether? Automotive intelligence. And in sales, when you have someone in the ether, that's when they're super excited. The emotional level is just at the absolute highest, and we want to keep them there. Well, time kills deals, and because in the subprime game right now, it's like having a screwdriver. So it takes time to
Hmm.
put stuff together. It's not that you can't do it. It can be done. But AetherX, we're a power drill.
It
So
goes
it's going to
right.
make
Yeah.
things a lot
A
faster.
bit fast. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
anyways, you guys have been growing tremendously. Over 200 dealerships currently use Aether, which is why I'm so excited to talk about Aether. But before we begin and get into all the numbers and all the questions and how you guys grew to over 200 dealerships, we have a tradition on the show where we start off the show, and you know this, we're gonna take a shot of hot sauce. I don't know what you have. Oh, okay, you got sriracha. All right.
Yeah.
So
That's spicy.
nicer than you, but
Way spicier.
you'll make up for it with a bigger spoon.
Absolutely.
Uh,
And here's
I
the
love
thing, it's
this.
something I enjoy too.
Yeah. Oh no. All right. Cheers.
Cheers.
Okay.
That's a nice way to start the show.
Yep. Definitely
Woo.
hot. Oh.
I like it.
Oh. Okay. So you kind of told us a little bit about the company and how it works. Basically, traditionally, really lengthy process. Oh, really lengthy process. And now you guys are making it faster. Tell us about how long it took before Aether and how much more time you guys are saving, because clearly you guys are doing something right to get over 200 dealerships across Canada.
So imagine this. If every single time you came to buy a vehicle, I had to check 200 vehicles to see if each one works, and I had to manually check. And now, when you come in, I don't have to check any; it's found. So, what we found is we've shortened processes anywhere from anywhere from a full day to 7 to up to a week, even more, all down to 2 seconds. So before, one
For
day,
each
7 days,
client that comes through, or each
2 seconds.
query.
For each query, it's 2 seconds for us to find the entirety. That's every
I
single
see.
thing that you can find. So for us right now, our systems can scan up to 204,000 vehicles in 4 seconds. So chances of us
Wow.
being able to match you a lot faster than a person can, like myself, one at a time, it just doesn't make sense. So
What about that whole process of you mentioned you got to get the approval from the bank, and for me, I financed a car recently, well, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, and it took me 3 hours sitting down and waiting for a big bank, not going to name a bank, but a big bank to approve me, even though I have good credit. And it took a
So
long time. Does your
can you
process make it
imagine the
faster?
bad credit? The bad credit ones, if you got
Yeah.
good credit 3 hours, can you imagine how much longer?
Wow.
And we're talking about, so every single one, not only are we looking at the total debt servicing ratio, so we're looking at their affordability rate. We have to
Mm,
see how much money is their rent. Can they afford the vehicle? How much can they pay? Now that's just the first challenge. So we now figured out Ted can do 500. Okay, cool. But now at $500, you're thinking it's easy. But the problem is each car out there, the cheaper the car, the shorter the term. So you're thinking, oh, maybe a $5,000 car or a $10,000 car might work, but you can only finance it for 12 months. And so it's, $800 payments. It actually doesn't work. So what we do is we legitimately find if every single approval is a puzzle, we put it together in seconds to show you options that will work.
mm.
Yeah.
So saving a lot of time on both the approval process and the finding the car process. Both you're kind of saving time on both sides, or
Well,
mostly
for
on
us,
the car side.
we come in after the approval, and we save tons of time.
Mm. Okay, I
Like
see.
for instance, the example of the impact I can make, just for the number's sake, the month I worked 300 hours, 270 on the computer. I only worked 30 hours with clients. I only talked to 41 people, and I sold 38 vehicles. So
Hmm.
can you imagine if I had more time? To then if can you imagine my 30 hours was switched with the 270 hours?
Mm.
Technically speaking, I would have sold 9 times the cars. That means
Right.
9 times 38, I would have sold 340 cars in the same amount of speed as I humanly possible can do it, and it can do
Yeah.
9 times faster than me. So
Yeah. Wow, that's
it
incredible.
definitely makes it a lot easier.
Yeah. Okay, so tell us about the stats. I know you have over 200 dealerships because we spoke, but can you share stats on number of vehicles that you have on the platform? Maybe the specific number, because the last time we spoke was a while ago, so I don't know if your the dealership numbers have increased. Any
Right.
kind of stats you can share
Of
around
course.
that?
So, we're proud. Our company was started from December of 2021, and we actually didn't even launch our software until August 15th. And then October
Okay,
17th was really when our Aether Hub really kicked off. And in less than 120 days, we are now signed with 251 dealerships across Canada. We're
holy
at nine
smokes!
different provinces across Canada and 91 cities slash towns so far. We haven't tackled Quebec yet.
How many? What does that make? What percentage do those 250 dealerships make as a percentage of all dealerships across Canada? Have you guys even touched a fraction of it?
Right now I have a 2% market share.
Holy smokes! Okay, so still a
Yeah,
lot left to
there's a
go.
lot left. I mean, given we've only had 4 months to do it, 2% is not bad. I'm really happy with
Yeah,
it. Our
that's amazing.
our ideal goal, like no joke, me and our C-suite team, we're sitting down and we're projecting, and I believe our VP was Sunny, and he's like, man, I would be so happy if by year end of 2022 we'll be at 25 stores. And I said
And you guys
I would be happy at
beat that.
30. So at
Wow.
250 something right now, I'm really pumped.
Okay, we're gonna get into that, by the way, and how you guys did it. But okay, so 251 dealerships. Um, what does that translate to? And I'm very going to be very careful. This is usually a question gets people. What does that translate to in sales? Can you share where you guys are at right now in terms of sales or projected sales for the year?
No, we've made revenue. So far in the last 120 days, we've done 11, just a hair under 11 million in revenue. And we've done over quite about 300 transactions off of our portal. So our proven concept has worked. And in a very short time, like all of this happened all within the last 120 days.
So in 120 days, you guys made $11 million in sales.
Yeah.
How does that how does that work? Um, that's crazy. I mean, that's incredible. Did you guys raise any money at all? Any
Fully
kind of
bootstrapped.
funding?
fully bootstrapped from day one.
Oh my God.
We had a concept, we believed in it. I believed in it, and I didn't feel like if I was to go out and try to raise some money first, I didn't want to lose a lot of the company. The way that I
Mm,
do things as well is culture. So instead of raising it and giving percentages to VCs, I actually gave a whole bunch of my points and shares to my team with in exchange for sweat equity.
mm.
So I took that approach. I took the sweat equity approach.
So these are booked revenues. It's not actually money in the account yet, right?
No, we've oh no, $11 million in transactions. We've net profit on that 600 and something thousand.
Okay, so just number of transactions. Okay, I see.
Yeah, revenue
Um,
number. Yeah.
okay, I thought revenue for Aether was 11 million. Okay, that makes sense. So you're just shy of a million in the first 120 days. So that's amazing. How
Yeah.
does a business model work? I believe you're working mostly with dealerships. Do you charge like a fee, like a monthly fee for dealerships to use the
Yeah.
platform, or
Yeah.
is that how it works?
Yeah. We have two sides of our business. AITHRX is our software that finds the cars. Aether Hub is where our dealer partners across Canada can actually synchronize their systems to our portal to have their vehicles uploaded. So
Mm,
so basically, it's our dealer partners would pay is they don't pay any money to upload to the hub. It's absolutely free, and people pay the $1,500 subscription model for us to have access to that hub. And then they use the proprietary algorithms that we have. You plug in the four numbers, and then it reaches into a pool of vehicles that
yeah,
that you don't own, and finds the
yeah,
best matches. Can you imagine having a business like Co-op, or sorry, not Co-op, like Costco and Walmart,
yeah.
where everything on their shelves is not paid for until it's
Mm,
scanned? What a great business model! And that's something that we
mm,
copied. So we allowed our
mm.
dealer partners to say, hey, you can have access to all 10,000 or 11,000 of these vehicles. Right now, we have 11,420,
Eleven thousand.
11,420 vehicles. You can have access to all of that. And you don't have to pay for a single one until you need it to sell, until it's sold. I mean, that to
Wow,
me is beautiful, right?
wow,
So our
that's
dealer partners are
fantastic.
adopting our policies. Yeah.
That's amazing. Well, that's incredible number so far. Excited for what you guys are gonna do. You know, another 100 in another 120 days. Maybe we'll catch up, and you guys will be at 2 million. That'll be exciting.
Hopefully it's going to
How
happen.
did you How did you guys grow so quickly? 120 days, almost $1 million in revenue already. How did you guys grow to this level? Like, what were some of the key channels for you guys?
60 days prior to launch. I physically was in Nanaimo, and I knocked on doors all across the country to Newfoundland. So for that first 60
Oh my
days, I
god.
legitimately knocked on 550 doors of dealerships to see if there's an appetite of the market. How do I pitch it? What is the right angle? What is their current market, and what's around? And is this going to work? I didn't want to trust it to anybody else. So yeah, it was a long 2 months. Every single door we knocked, the amount of different dealerships, people, it was actually fun, but it was exhausting. That set
So
us up for our launch. We knew how to do it, who was looking for it, and that putting in that
mm,
2 months of legitimately boots on ground. That was a huge part of it, and LinkedIn, of course. LinkedIn has been a big form of referrals and leads for us too.
okay, so let's talk about the door knocking. That's amazing. You're taking it back to the old days of marketing, just the traditional
I don't believe
guerrilla
in the
marketing.
Zoom calls. I mean, if I want to sell you something or I want to learn
Yeah,
about you, I should shake your
yeah.
hand.
Okay, so 550 doors knocked. How many of those doors converted then? It sounds like if you have 251 dealerships right now, and assuming most of them were from this door knocking campaign, that's a pretty profitable campaign.
Yeah, no, like for me, that first out of the like you had to, so I've never done B2B before, business to business, and I'm the first to say I was so like overly confident. I was like, man, I can sell cars. I know car people. It's gonna be easy. I'm gonna walk in. I'm gonna say subprime software, and they're gonna be like, "Whoa, take my money." That did
Yeah.
not happen. Not only did
Oh,
that not
okay.
happen, like not only did that not happen, out of that first 500 doors, I got rejected probably the first 250 times. And it's not because,
Wow.
and the rejections that I was taking is, and here's, I'm hitting 30, 40 stores a day, right? 30 stores a day.
Yeah.
And the rejections I'm taking, I'm trying to curate, like, how does B2B work? Who do you say hi to?
Mm.
Do you stop at reception? Do you say this? What time should I go at? Should I make a call prior? Like, I learned all of that stuff through the first 250. And then the next 250, I was able to convert about 70 of them. So that
Mm.
made it a lot easier. And then the rest of the clientele just started picking up as in the last 120 days.
Wow, that's amazing. Um, what other industries do you think this might work? Because I know, the car dealership is very face to face. You can't really sell a car through Zoom. So, do you think a lot of industries like this, like for example, the real estate, but even the real estate industry is moving more virtual now. A lot of virtual walkthroughs. What other industries do you think this type of door knocking, like door to door knocking, would work for nowadays?
Everything.
Everything.
Everything. Honestly, I do not believe that you can't door to door knock on anything and get it done. I'm
Mm,
old school. I just believe that if I really want something, there's going to be I don't need 100 people to say yes to me. I need one,
mm,
right? So if you said no, I'm like, okay, cool. That's one person closer to the next,
hmm
and without seeing it in person, you're not really seeing the emotions, the raw emotions of are they really calling you back? Are they really excited? Are they genuinely
mm,
excited? Are they just being nice? You know,
mm,
and you can control a lot more. And also, when you're door knocking, you're
mm.
able to look for pain points a lot easier because it's in front of you. You're in the space and you can
All in
see the
front of
pain
you.
points that
Yeah.
you can bring up. But when you're on Zoom, I'm asking you to bring up pain points. But if you don't think you have anything wrong, then I lost everything. So I have to be the one to do
Mm,
it. Door knocking is the only way. In any business, I believe you have to do it the old school way. Door knock first, get your name out there. People respect you. And the reason I do it too, people are like, oh, why don't you just hire people? I did, but I just didn't get them to do it. I did it first because I don't respect people that tell me to do stuff that they can't do or won't.
that they can't do. Yeah. Yeah.
So I
So
did
so
it
you kind
first.
of, as a leader, you paved the way. You showed people the path, and then people kind of can follow you. You can't just tell
Yes,
someone to blindly walk through. As a leader, you should lead, not follow, right?
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. No, that's amazing. So 25% conversion rate basically for the next 250 doors that
Right.
you knocked on, because you converted 70. That's incredible for any B2B campaigns. Okay, so number one, the door knocking campaign. Number two, you talked about LinkedIn. Tell us about what you did on LinkedIn. What worked there for LinkedIn for you?
I just started sharing my story, like truly sharing my journey of my door knocking, telling people that I laugh because there's so many software companies that have come to me while I was in a dealership role, trying to sell me software. And my first question is always, who in your company has sold cars before? And
Mm,
they're always like, well, so and so was in the car industry 12 years ago and he was a detailer. I'm like, well, how would he know what I need? I
yeah.
just don't understand that. I take pride. Like we take pride that our team, we know all of us, we are experts. There's 205 years of subprime experience in my just on my sales team themselves.
Mm,
I will not hire anybody that has not been able to identify the pain point. And it's when we're doing their interviews and I show them the software. If they don't identify it as a time saver and they identify other stuff, like it's very specific how I'm looking for these people because our team has to be, we don't want to just be a software company. We want to be your partner. And to be a partner, we have to bring knowledge and value. And we can only do that if you have experience
yeah.
in that role.
Yeah. Okay. So sharing your story on LinkedIn, you built a very good team around it that all understands the journey of the and the pain points of the car dealership industry. It's very interesting on LinkedIn, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, especially for B2B. And I talk about this a lot through my LinkedIn as well. I feel like B2B, even though there's business to business, really the people making the decision are people. So it's not B2B. I think about it as P2P, people to
Yes,
people,
yes,
right?
yes, yes.
And it's very interesting on LinkedIn where and I don't know what your experience has been. But oftentimes the thought leaders, the leaders that are sharing content like you, get a lot more attraction and engagement than the posts that are posted by the companies, because people resonate with the people more than they
Yes.
resonate with the company. And so I
Yes.
don't know
100%.
what you think about that and what your experience has been.
I'm the exact same way. I 100% agree. It is a P2P business. I actually have never heard that before, and something I'm going to run with because it's true.
Yeah.
It's not Eastside Kia buying my software. It's specifically who. You know what I mean? You're absolutely right on that. Um, so for us, our the LinkedIn profile, the differences in my opinion, it is like just for ourselves. I think Aether isn't over 1,000 followers yet. But I have about close to 92, close to 10,000. I'm working my way up to the following, and the difference is because people resonate with Ted. Ted is, and it's a journey. It's the journey of the people.
The
It's
journey,
what
yeah.
value are you bringing? Are you what value are you bringing? What impact are you making? And I find that people are quite excited and interested. I might not get it's weird. So like I just recently posted a video and I got 24 likes or whatever, but the number that I was staggered with is the minutes watched of my video. We're over 700 minutes. And
Wow.
it's like a 2-minute video and I'm going, okay, well, there's got to be someone out there or something out there following, and just because they don't make a comment doesn't mean they're not watching. And that's what I've noticed. The last it's actually really cool because you walk into dealerships. I like when I was doing my first door to door, I'm walking into Prince PEI. I'm in Alberta, PEI. I walk in and the gentleman's like, "Hey, you're Ted from Aether," and I was like, "Whoa,
Whoa.
crazy!"
Yeah.
Like that's the power of LinkedIn. I truly
Yeah.
do believe that. So I think the people content is it's always going to be more stronger, and to encourage the team on LinkedIn to continually post their content, because I believe each person's a brand. Ted's a brand,
Yeah.
you're a
For
brand,
sure.
every person's a brand. So
Yeah.
brand yourselves, put your thoughts out there, put some value out there. And I typically try to do that to create more value to my content.
Yeah, for sure. And it's and so that one piece of content got probably, like, how many impressions did that one piece of content get for you? Was 700 minutes watched? It must have been quite a lot of impressions.
Yes, let me have a look. I'm finally working my way there. It took a long time.
Yeah, no, it's a journey, right?
See,
Like you said, it's a journey. So
it's
it
like
definitely takes a long
4,000.
time.
It's only 4,000 impressions. So
Yeah,
people are watching that video, and that's to me that the most important thing. I don't care how many people are engaging with our impression. I'm more seeing how many people have actually legit watched it.
watch it. Yeah,
700
exactly.
minutes, and if I take it divided by two, that means divided by 2-minute video. That's 350 full plays. That's a lot.
Full plays. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I was in the beginning of my podcast journey, because I started 2 podcasts. The first podcast, I kept looking at I looked at the engagement so often, and I was it's just we're in this culture of immediate satisfaction, and we want that immediate, like, that
Instant
endorphin, that
gratification. Yeah.
rush,
Yeah.
that it's almost like that assurance that, hey, you're doing well. And that was the issue that I had with and I fell into the trap that a lot of content creators have. And then once I started realizing that, I started asking myself, well, when was the last time I liked a lot of content? When I look at a content, it's sometimes you like it, you're watching it, but you just don't have the time in a day to constantly comment or like, right? And then I shifted my focus to focus more on views and full plays and the connection that I'm building with this podcast. And things have changed a lot. Now I'm, like, connecting with people like yourself, people that are building things, and this one conversation that we're having is worth every other like that I can get. It's worth
I
hundreds of
agree with
likes that
you.
I can get.
I agree with you.
Right. So it's been amazing. And now I've interviewed 35 guests on the podcast. It's been an amazing journey so far. So that's great that you and I are focusing on the right things. That's amazing.
100%.
Yeah. What other? So you got the door knocking. You got the
Yeah,
LinkedIn.
you know what?
You
Let me talk
guys.
about door knocking one more time. Actually, one
Okay.
more
One
thing
more.
I wanted to
Yeah.
mention about it because I started
Yeah.
in BC and I worked my way to Atlantic. And, we just started our raise about 10 days ago. Just started our raise
Okay.
because we need to scale now, right?
Right.
Now, going all the way to the Atlantic, remember, so it was crappy meetings, getting rejected all the way. I'm in the Atlantic now. I'm like, okay, this is it. And then by door knocking, I can't tell you who yet, but we have a monster partnership / investor because of 3 handshakes of door knocks that I never would have ever even found on Google. Walked in, shook the hand, and next thing you know, fast forward these months later, we're in final talks right now and securing our first big
Holy
investment.
smokes! How much are you guys
So
raising?
we're raising 1.5 right now.
1.5, and
Yeah,
all of this is going to be raised by these 3 guys.
yeah, exactly, and it's
And
because of those door hand those.
can you name any? Can you name any of the investors?
Unfortunately, it's I cannot yet, but it's big.
Oh,
It's big.
oh no! Oh crap! Are you serious? Oh, all right. I guess we gotta take a shot of hot sauce for this. Damn it! These producers are just they're watching everything I say. It's so weird. Super strange. All right, all right. I guess they wanted some solid answers. It's okay. We'll probably hear in a few months, right?
Yes, sir. A few days, hopefully.
Few days. Whew. So you're gonna raise 1.5 million. Is the plan to use that money to go across Canada one more time? Do another
It's
round of
it's
500 door knocks?
it's to scale to put more boots on ground, so it's not just Ted going out there. I now have we have some sales. I have sales directors and account managers in every province except for Quebec so far.
Okay.
So I really want to just ramp that up by doubling and tripling it, and I want to hit the market fast. I feel like software is always going to be one of those things where somebody else can also develop. But if you're in enough stores to begin with, then you're just going to share the space. So I want to make sure we're doing that.
Okay. What else do you think you guys are gonna? Because you guys aren't spending much on advertising or SEM or
No, we've been
influencer
it's
marketing.
it's all been organic. So for me, being in the industry for 19 years in Western Canada, I've had a big network of dealer networking already. So I leveraged that to start, and as I leveraged that,
Right.
3,000-4,000 people that I knew in the business that was connected with me,
Yeah.
we leveraged that to really go. But it's been word of mouth. We got where we really took off. We had a demo video of ours that went viral, and that's when we started getting messages asking about our software.
Oh, was
So
it like a live? Was it a live demo with a dealership, basically?
it wasn't a live demo. It was just a pre-recorded one of me just doing one.
Pre-recorded.
But
Okay.
because it was like it is truly simple. When people look at my software and they're like, it's only 4. It's legit 4 numbers. So you have to enter, and that's it. And then based on having that video content, like it really went out. So I don't know. I guess the biggest thing is sending videos. Videos is the most important thing. Whether they're
So I think you're going to
15s,
invest,
30s,
maybe use 1.5 to invest in more boots on the
yeah,
ground and maybe more
lots
quality
more video
videos.
content. It's going to be tons of video content. Like if I had it my way, I would probably have GoPros for all of my sales team.
Yeah.
And you're going out there and you're hearing your customers tell you their pain points. And then you can legitimately see later on that we signed them because that's what we're here to do. We're here to remove the pain points, right?
And that's what you did in the beginning. You did the whole door-to-door thing and you documented it on LinkedIn, and that
So
brought a
then
lot of
now I
attention.
give them, I'm like, hey guys, this is why they said no. And now we can go in, and now it's not a cold door knock. Now it's just like a warm retap.
Ah, interesting. You're turning you're duplicating TEDs. You're duplicating into like 10 or 20 different TEDs and just spreading them across Canada.
Well, I found that honestly, if I didn't do the door knocking first, I don't know if a lot of people could take the type of rejection we were taking. We probably would have lost quite a
Oh,
lot of staff. So I
oh
was
my
like, hey,
God.
I'll do it all first. I'll write it all down so it's not as hard for the next person.
Yeah. Yeah. So, so now that you've started your first company, I mean, you've been in the industry for 19 plus years, and then you started your first startup. What is it? What is it? Did you learn something in this last year and a half? Something that you wish you knew before you started your startup?
Oh my goodness.
And there's probably so many, but what do you
Like,
think is that one or two things that you wish you knew before you started? You wish someone would have told you that.
I wish someone told me that entrepreneurial life is every day you get to experience the penthouse and the outhouse feeling multiple times. You don't get the between. It's just penthouse or outhouse. And
Outhouse, yeah.
it's like, but like going back, I wish I wasn't a very tech person. I wasn't very wasn't very techy.
Yeah.
So going into it, the first 6 months, I didn't really know too much. So when we're having meetings and stuff, I'm just sitting there and I'm going, no, that's not okay. Like I need to bring value. So
Mm.
I started reading a little bit of coding, just very minor stuff, but at the very minimal, I can carry a conversation. And it's
You have to
that
do that.
it's
Yeah.
it's that I wish I put a lot more time into because I
Mm.
probably lost a few opportunities in the beginning of our company looking just yeah for sure. So that would be one.
Mm.
But that was it. Like for me, the biggest thing is to ensure that you found like I found something I love, I'm passionate for. So the outhouse penthouse feeling is whatever. I'm grateful for all the opportunities and all the lessons I'm learning. Yeah, but yeah, it's true. Outhouse penthouse every day.
And that's one of the hardest things about being a founder because you have a certain skill set. You're really strong at sales, and it's very clear because that's what you've done your whole life, right? Since you were, like 20 or 18 or 20. But the problem with the founder is that once you become a founder, you're touching everything. You're touching sales, marketing, finance, accounting, hiring, culture building, everything. You're doing everything, right? And I think that's something that a lot of founders, even when you hear it on a podcast like this or you listen to other podcasts, you can never be prepared. And so the
No.
best way is you got to learn. You got to spend time learning. You got to spend time on the weekends learning about your tech platform, learning how to explain things in a certain way. You got to spend some time learning about PPC and SEO before you hire an SEO and PPC specialist, right? Because the scariest thing in life is giving money to someone else to do something that you have no idea what they're doing,
Yes,
right? That's one of the
and
scariest things in
honestly,
life.
and quite honestly, like I wish if I could give a tip to people, and I want to, like, I love tech companies. I'm not talking bad about them at all, but just like a car salesperson, sometimes do your research before you go and buy that vehicle. Not saying
Mm,
car salespeople are not bad. I'm not saying they're all gentlemen scholars either, but do your
yeah.
research. And especially if you're going to partner up with a tech company,
Mm.
if you don't know your stuff, like I just talked about, it's costed me dearly, and it almost ended us. Like we almost did not make it because of it.
Yeah, well,
So
yeah, because the first 250 companies all said no, right? And then it wasn't until you finally the light bulb switched and you're like, you know what, I should probably, and you probably look back and you realize what the mistakes were, and then you decided to, and
why
also,
did he say no? Da, 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 da.
yeah, and also after 250 calls, you better know your software after 250 after
Yeah, for
250 door
sure.
knocks, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, but
um,
it's cool because like for those that are wanting to open a software company and they're not going to build their own software and they're going to go out to do it, do your
yeah.
research. Make sure you get referrals and references because again, that is the most important part that I wish I learned prior to. Don't just
What
trust
was
people at face value.
Exactly. And that's what I mean. Like if you're going to hire someone in the future, when you get that 1.5 million, you're probably going to invest in a videographer. You can invest in SEM. You can invest in probably upping your website or whatever. And
And I
if you
want to make
don't,
sure I know all my SEO content. I know exactly what I'm looking for. Blah, blah, blah. I know how
at
to look
least,
for it.
at least at a high
Or ask
level,
the
right?
right question. Yes, exactly.
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 Never again,
Um,
man. Never again.
Never again. This is, I'm curious what your answer will be for this one. What was the most embarrassing moment of during your trip, door knocking, especially that first 20 to 250? Any stories that you can share?
Okay, so when you first start, you don't know what to wear, you don't know how to act and all this other stuff because like legit, like when I'm saying you have to learn, you have to learn. So I started out with suits, like a nice suits, beautiful
Full suit, yeah.
shoes, like you name it. I'm walking in and we cater to every dealership. So our company, we can sell to franchise stores like Toyota, Hondas, and all the independent like ABC Joe's shop.
Yeah.
So I walk into this store in Surrey, BC, and I walk in. It has got to be at least 38, 39 degrees outside. It's so hot. Walk into this little trailer,
Yeah.
no AC, also so hot.
Oh.
And I was like, hey, I want to show you guys the software, blah, blah, blah. They're like, sure, just sit down right here. So I sit down between two monster sized gentlemen, like on a couch.
Yeah. Yeah.
They are so sweaty. And I'm
Oh
sitting down
no.
between them, and I'm just trying so hard. And they're like,
Oh
yeah,
my
it will
God.
only be about 10 minutes. And I'm like, 10 minutes? So we're just sitting here, and obviously the body odors, everybody's expiring. Like it was just horrendous. And
Oh wow.
the worst part about it was I was supposed to check into the hotel that morning after I got off the ferry. But because it was too early for check-in, I couldn't get a shower or anything from the night before. So I'm
So you're
already
wearing the
not
same suit. You're wearing the same suit the
I'm
whole time.
already, and I'm like already wearing the same suit. They stink. I'm not having a good time at all. And I'm surprising, and of course, unsurprisingly, they were not interested.
That's probably why.
So,
Okay, first of all, that's probably why they weren't interested. The first, 50 guys probably weren't interested. But secondly, oh my goodness, that is insane. Can you share the name of that dealership?
I don't remember it. Like I truly do not remember the dealership's name because, you know what? If I did, I couldn't say it. I couldn't say it. I would do a hot shot. I would do a hot shot.
Okay, all right. We'll do a hot. Okay, the producers are okay. They seem to be okay with it, but we'll do a hot sauce shot. We'll do a hot sauce shot for that. Sorry, ABC Joe dealership.
Yeah, I don't want you to think I don't love you.
Cheers.
Ooh,
I think this is getting me. This is getting to me for sure.
it's
For
hot.
sure. It's starting to. All right. Maybe one last thing before a couple things. You talked about some things that you wish you would have learned. Any just advice that you would give? Any other like big piece of advice that you'd give for just just overall stress level and time management and other things that we don't talk about
Dude,
enough?
like I said, Penthouse Outhouse. I'm not sure I'm the best guy to ask.
Yeah.
But no, it's I'm having a hard time with it right now, trying to because like, and I don't notice it because it's my dream, right? It's my business, my baby. I think
Yeah.
about it all the time, and you know, I do wish that I could check out a little bit sometimes. So, like, I mean, the advice to myself, actually, Ted, you didn't listen to this, is go off on a weekend, every 2 weeks, go to the mountains, go for a hike, just go somewhere without your phone. I know it's impossible. Like, for me, without my phone in 2 seconds, I'm like, but like, legit, go in the forest, go for a walk, even a walk 30 minutes without your phone. That is enough to rejuvenate you to get your mind ready to attack again. So that's what I do all the time. I'll take 15 minutes or 20, I'll put it away. I'll go outside, go for a run, whatever it is. And that just gives me just enough to like, have a breather. So that would be
So you do that.
that would be mine.
You do that daily, and then on the weekends you probably take some time off too.
Yes,
Take a little bit of time
I
off.
take times off. I take time off on Sunday sometimes. There's always little projects I'm working on.
Yeah.
Oh, here's another one. Stress reliever, baths. Take baths. I'm
Baths.
serious. I take 3 baths a day sometimes when I'm
Holy
super stressed
smokes.
out. When I'm stressed out,
Wow.
it's like, it's a lot because I'm still able to think. I can still, type on my laptop. But to sit in there, you just feel so relaxed. And that relaxation level when you're in that relaxation mode and you're able to actually accomplish work through it, oh my gosh, the type of stuff that I
Wow.
got done, it's incredible. I'm in there,
Interesting.
and it's like it's beautiful. You turn up the you get the hot water, just nice. You don't have to do the bubbles.
Yeah. Oh, although I'm not okay. Yeah, bubbles. I think that's a great idea, and some lavender, some roses,
Yeah.
right?
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah, and then maybe take another walk around Surrey, BC again in the summertime.
Yes.
That help you some stress relief. Okay, last thing before we jump out, what should we look forward to for Aether? I know you guys have a fundraise coming up very soon. What should we look out for in the next 12 months? What are some big things? Video. We talked about video. We talked about the fundraise. Anything else that big campaigns that you
we
guys are
we
looking to do?
we will be in at least 1,000 stores by the end of this year. And actually, okay, you know what? This is something I've been always wanting to do. It's been a dream of mine, and we're going to start working towards it. Aether is going to have a subprime convention, like an automotive subprime convention. This is something that we want. We're going to start, putting ideas into it, and if I can get enough of the vendors and resources, we're definitely going to do that. It's something that I've always wanted to. I want the industry to get educated on subprime. Whether they buy TED software or not, I don't care. What I care about is there's going to be 700,000 Canadians that have bad credit this year going into an automotive loan. Those
Mm,
700,000 Canadians, I want, and I'm hoping that the dealerships that are going to handle them are going to be able to give them what they want ethically and in a timely fashion. And the only way
mm,
to provide that to hit everybody would be to do a convention where, it's something that you really can't get a lot of information on. So I think I could.
mm,
That's something I'm
mm.
really, really hoping that we can make work.
That's amazing.
Ether convention.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Well, let's talk about getting some hot sauce there to make it fun, keep
Yeah.
it fun. Okay, well, Ted, this is a great conversation. We took a total of 3 hot sauce shots. I think producers were nice to us today, but also congratulations on all your success. It's been an incredible 120 days for you. Excited to see what the rest of the year is going to hold for you. And if we wanted to learn more, what's the best place for us to learn more about Aether?
www.aithrx.com.
And that's on your
AitherX.com.
shirt. It's on your shirt
That's on my
right there.
shirt.
AITHRX. And we'll have it in the show notes as well. And you guys might be doing more social, so look out for the social handles as well. Thank you so much, Ted, for coming on. Appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
Hey, I hope you enjoyed that episode. And if you want to learn more about marketing, just hit that subscribe button and check out all the other videos we have with CEOs, CMOs, and founders. We post weekly here, so this way you won't miss any future episodes. Also, you can leave me a comment down below on what you think about this episode and also what else I can do or ask to make the show more fun for you. See you later.